I'm fanning myself because I'm like in the other room and there's no fan here. Can you hear the air?
I think, but I'm not sure.
Just gonna put it.
It's not distracting. Okay, I don't hear anything if you're fanning your face right now.
Yeah, I'm like making sure that it's far from the microphone. The shit that we gotta do for this podcast.
I know.
So I think we're starting already. I feel the government listening.
Oh, he has been for like the past few minutes.
Yeah.
We just didn't acknowledge. So Craig is back, and I'm so happy because I think this is the best audio we can get in a podcast. I just feel it.
I feel like if we start listening to it, like, I don't know,
it's like, oh shit,
ever had.
And then when we play back, oh fuck, why did I say that?
Craig's like, well, first of all, you're wrong, and
like,
second, you guys should like get better microphones.
I know, but you know what? Fuck you. We're still doing this.
Yeah, bad audio is not stopping us,
and so is bad internet.
Yeah.
So that's the constant thing in our lives.
We have better connection now, I think, because I can hear you clearly.
Stop. Can we not say like, oh, this is a good audio?
Jinx.
By the way, this is Creepy Conversations with Kalai and Gabby, you guys. Welcome to our podcast. We are going to be talking about serial killers today, and I am so excited.
Yeah, a lot of people are really into creepy shit and the macabre. I think reading about insane people makes us feel sane. I think that's why people like it so much. What do you think, Gab?
That sounds so bad. It's like, you're insane and I'm fine.
I think that's like in their subconscious. Mm-hmm. I think that's why they're so interested in like what went wrong and shit like that. But
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
You got something to say again?
Yes, definitely. Before we start this, just to get it out there, in no way are we glorifying murderers and serial killers and whatever criminals there is. The point of us talking about this is to educate you guys about the horrors of the world and the most basic, relatable concept we know. And the more you learn about something, the more you understand the logic behind it, which is why you understand why you should and shouldn't do things. So let me just repeat myself. We do not celebrate serial killers. If anything else, this podcast is a burn book of some sorts. You know, like we talk shit about them. Mm-hmm. What am I saying? We always talk shit about whatever. We always just talk shit. But yeah, we discuss these things to help analyze and understand the situation, find out where it went wrong and why it went wrong. So if you're thinking about becoming a serial killer or just a killer and you're listening to this podcast, please, this is the sign from Yoda or whatever God you believe that's not a very good idea. Go see a doctor, go talk to a priest or like whatever, do whatever, just don't kill anything. There's nothing wrong with seeking help, okay? But talking about serial killers is pretty cool. So now let's get on to this.
And we will discuss serial killers so that we'll know where it went wrong and what triggered them. Mm-hmm. And please don't get triggered. If you feel like you're getting triggered by us talking about serial killers, you can just, leave this creepy conversation. Have your brain checked, people. Have your Brian checked.
Because I feel like that's something, especially in the Philippines, that's something you feel ashamed of. Because it's not normal in our culture to go to a psychiatrist and ask for help. Because people always think, oh, you have friends, you have your family, you can just talk to them. But these are not experts. Sometimes you need more than just your friends and your family. And it's okay.
Yeah, that's totally fine. And don't blame it on like, oh, a spirit possessed me. That's why I fucking killed this girl. Like, dude, I call you bullshit. And to those that are listening, let's call these people bullshit. Because it's like, I'm pretty sure even if the spirit will possess you, you would still have your mind. Find a freaking way to stop it. If you believe in those kinds of shit and you feel like a spirit is possessing you, go find a priest or like a faith healer.
Get exorcised.
Yeah, like talk to somebody, man.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. Would you really want to spend the rest of your life in jail rather than just like simply talking about it and be embarrassed about it for a while? Like, think about it. If you have brains, think about it.
We sound like we have so much like serial killers to talk about.
This is going to be an official segment, by the way. For our listeners, we're going to have like a serial killer segment, which is interesting because we don't find a lot of serial killers in the Philippines.
This shit is so fucking hard to find. I scoured the internet.
You don't
wherever.
Know. You don't know the kind of research that we've done.
Dude, page 5 of like search results. Nobody even goes to page 2. I got to page 5.
Me too. It's that
bad.
Yeah. It's our dedication.
Oh, we love this.
To give the information. Yeah.
So, who do you have? Or like, what do you have?
What do you mean? I was not ready for that.
Serial killer, like, I hear the ambulance, fuck.
Yes. Like I said, I've got a really colorful background. You're going to hear a dog later on, probably. And let's get back to serial killers. Like I said, serial killers aren't very common in the Philippines, or we think they're not very common. But, I mean, it's a good thing, though, right? I mean, we have enough psychos in the Senate and in the police force, so...
We shouldn't even be talking about this, but yeah, we're gonna trash talk you anyway.
I mean, if you're in the Senate and you start attacking us, well, we know that you're a serial killer already. You got triggered, man. So don't fucking attack us, because we know.
Okay, let me get on to a definition of what a serial killer is, because I think a lot of people just think serial killers are people who kill more than one person.
Or sorry to cut you off, but like people think that serial killers are what they see in Criminal Minds.
Yeah.
Most of it isn't wrong, but before, when I used to just watch Criminal Minds and CSI, I had like this certain thinking of serial killers, but serial killers can be in any form. In any way. Like, look at Ted Bundy and Richard Ramirez and Ed Gein. Ed Gein isn't a serial killer, but he's kind of
there.
He's still a psycho. But yeah, they're all different people. This serial killer shit that we're going to be talking about, you're going to find out a lot of different shit as well. So yeah, go ahead, Gab. You were saying something.
Yeah. So this is actually from Wikipedia. Ta-da! But this is a definition from the FBI, which says that a serial killer is typically a person who murders 3 or more people, usually in service of abnormal psychological gratification, with murders taking place over more than a month and including a significant period of time between them. So this is what makes them different from spree killers, because spree killers just do it in like short periods of time because they just want to do it. And different authorities apply different criteria. So they did mention typically murder 3 or more people, but sometimes they would consider even just 2 victims for as long as the MO fits. They can consider the culprit a serial killer already. I don't know when they start to consider those things, but it can differ to that. Sometimes they would wait until the 4th victim before they can even categorize that person as a serial killer. So they also define it as a series of 2 or more murders committed as a separate event, usually, but not always, by one offender acting alone. So they can be in tandem or a group. A serial killer doesn't necessarily have to be a loner. And historically, criminologists have suggested that there may have been serial killers even long before. It's just that these cases are not adequately recorded, and some sources suggest that legends such as werewolves and vampires were inspired by medieval serial killers.
Ooh.
this sounds like so familiar with our aswang and the manananggal and how they kill.
Yeah, and we've mentioned it before that they could be serial killers, but people didn't know how to explain them.
Yeah, and I think a lot of these cases are not adequately recorded because police are... Shit, I'm gonna bash people. But the police don't do quite a good job at like looking for evidences and processing these things. Sometimes it's even the judge or whatever. Because I was looking through a couple of documentaries and I found like History Channel segment regarding the Visconde massacre. Okay, so this is not serial killer, but they mentioned that DNA testing only started in 1991 in the Philippines. And it wasn't even standard practice of the police to collect DNA samples in their investigation. And oftentimes it would take decades for courts to allow DNAs to be used as evidences of the crime. So that says a lot, really, of how we process these things. So I'm not really shocked at why we can't find information about serial killers in the Philippines. Common characteristics of these serial killers would be psychopathic, mentally ill, abused as a child. They're usually bedwetters beyond the age of 12, has a fetish, involved in petty crimes, and has like average to low average IQ. So these guys are fucking stupid. This is how you get killed. You do not diss killers.
Exactly. You're lucky you're not here, you know.
But even if these are common characteristics, it doesn't mean that a serial killer has to have these to be considered one. It's just
exactly
like commonalities.
I have a couple serial killers in my mind already that I know they didn't torture animals. Some of them didn't like bedwet. Edmund Kemper is a genius. His IQ is, I think, 140 something, almost genius level.
Yeah. It's not all the times like they're low average. Oftentimes we think that they are smart. They are perceived as smart even if they do have like low to average IQ, because I think people don't understand the way they think. So you feel like, oh shit, they're smart.
Yeah, they're not smart at all. Like the fact that they don't have control in killing people, that shows that they're not smart at all. That means that they're not logical. If you're not a logical person, then for me, you're not smart at all. So
yeah, it takes a lot of it takes a lot of mental capacity to control yourself and behave yourself.
Exactly. And yet,
yeah, you were about to say something.
Never mind. Please go on.
Where was I? I also found what do you call this? It's not the news, but it's in the news channel. So there was a segment in ANC, The Explainer. Mm-hmm. So this guy, Manolo Quezon, had an interview or talked to a psychiatrist about serial killers or killers in general. And the name of that psychiatrist was Dr. Carlo Banaag. And he said that there are because they were kind of arguing the fact about like serial killers not existing in the Philippines. And the psychiatrist said that there probably are serial killers, but you have to understand that the Filipino preference of murder is not what we usually see in the news, which is like massacre or, it's very out there and rage. Because he said that when it comes to premeditated murder, Filipinos prefer to be passive, aggressive, and non-confrontational, which kind of makes sense. Because I think we're too, I don't know if friendly is the right term, but yeah, I noticed.
We're afraid of judgment. That's it.
We're not very confrontational. So he said that if we do have serial killers, they would likely choose to administer poison rather than shoot someone or like hack people to death. And I think like it kind of fits because, for the lack of better term, poisoning someone is like a romantic way of killing somebody. It's very dramatic, and I think we're kind of into the dramatics. So
true.
We kind of fit.
It's the teleseria thing.
Yeah.
Which is like, what's teleseria in English? Like,
telenovelas? I don't know.
Shit, I forgot the term for teleseria in English.
Let me Google that.
Yeah, me too. It's like we don't have...
Our English fails us. Sorry.
Exactly. And to think I was an English teacher before.
Fuck, soap opera. There you go.
Soap opera. Yes. What the fuck? Just ask my sister.
Yeah, we always go to your sister for these things. So, yeah, I didn't really get much about, like, details on this. But upon scouring the internet, I found just a single guy listed as a serial killer in the Philippines. And I found him in the Encyclopedia of Serial Killers by Michael Newton. Mm-hmm. And his name is Adil Albani.
Oh, I read about him.
Oh, okay.
See, I told you, like, never mind. Please go on.
I'm just going to say a bit about what I found. But, like, really, this is nothing. Like, close to zero detail. So this guy is, they have categories. I actually screenshot the encyclopedia, the page where I found this in the encyclopedia. So they put type T, which means he is territorial. I don't know. Like, a serial murder is territorial. I think that means, like, he only kills within his area. And his motive is PC non-specific. So PC stands for personal cause. And this guy's MO is stabbing fishermen. I don't have a kill count. It just says here, like, he stabbed several fishermen and shot a 50-year-old Chinese woman. His victims are, like, more than 4. That's his kill count. More than 4. Who knows? It could have been just 5.
More than...
Yeah. And oh, by the way, he is from Zamboanga, Philippines, and that's in Mindanao. So they're west, southwest?
Southwest. Southeast? Yeah. Southwest.
Southwest. Fuck, here we go with geography again. Southwest of Mindanao. And he was killed in 2005 by a vigilante gunman while he was hiding from the police. And the funny thing is, he was shot. He had like 3 bullet wounds in the head and he died on the spot. And the funny thing is, while he was hiding, he still kept boasting to his neighborhood he has an amulet that would protect him from harm.
Oh, yeah, I read about that.
Like, these things just don't go away. We're back at it again with the anting-anting. This is the amulet he's referring to. He has an anting-anting that would protect him from harm. Apparently, 3 bullets is not harm. It's death.
I mean, he didn't get tortured.
No, he just died on the spot. Yeah. And he was killed while drinking. So he was having fun. What a way to go.
Yeah. He probably didn't know that he was going to die.
And that's basically all I have from him. I kept searching for his name, and I keep getting, like, Indonesian articles. And I'm like, no, this is not the guy.
Yeah, actually, he's, like, he became, like, sort of an urban legend in the Philippines. Yeah.
I didn't know.
People were like, is he really real? What are the names of his victims and shit like that? So yeah, he sort of became an urban legend. People can't find shit about him, and they believe that he's not from the Philippines. Like, he was probably born somewhere else, and then they moved to the Philippines because his name isn't Filipino.
Yeah, but then, like, Mindanao is the Muslim part of the Philippines, and his name sounds pretty Muslim to me.
Yeah, that's why he became, like, almost a urban legend because of that. Because, you know, another thing with Filipinos is that we love to be in denial. Like, we can't.
Of course, like, when something bad goes comes up, it's like, nope, we didn't do it. It must have been someone else.
And another thing, while researching, I actually found a couple of serial killers here, but the police knew about him. And when you read about the MO, by the way, another thing, sorry, most of our serial killers, I've found, most of the reasons why they kill is personal reason.
Yeah.
Not really because about sexual shit, which is what most of the serial killers in America do. Most of it is because, it's a personal thing for them. That's why they kill. We have a lot of serial rapists here.
We do.
Not serial killers, but serial rapists. So,
but
which
I think
is
that's
weird.
not shocking for a conservative country. You would definitely get that. But yeah, okay, go on, continue.
I forgot because I didn't write it. I didn't write this down. I wasn't expecting to like this. But anyway, we do have a couple of serial killers here. Like I said, I had to read like almost every article in the recent years in Inquirer, and there were like, you could say that these are serial killers because of how similar one person and then multiple crimes, similar crimes, and the police didn't file them as serial killer.
Wait, stop. Is this also in Zamboanga?
No.
Okay, because I was looking for more information about this guy. I stumbled upon another, I wouldn't say serial killer, because I stumbled upon a case still in Zamboanga, because I was looking for like Zamboanga serial killer, because nothing would come up if I put his name. But let's talk about this later. I'm just so excited. Okay, just go on.
Yeah.
You could talk about yours first.
Yes. Oh, and by the way, since we were trash talking cops, I mean, by the way, if you're from the police force, no offense, but not all cops are shit here in the Philippines. Majority of them are, but not all. I'm pretty sure there's still like good cops out there. I mean, it's not their fault that our country is fucking poor and that we don't have enough resources and to spend on, and we don't like, our technology sucks.
Except for Craig.
Craig, we love you. And they don't have. I think Craig's not from the Philippines though.
Yeah, but he is still from the government.
I feel like the FBI is watching everyone in the whole world.
I would not be surprised.
Anyway, that's for another episode regarding conspiracy theories later on next episode. Not next, but like in future episodes.
Okay.
I just can't stop talking. Yeah. So back to the cops. I did another research about it. Serial killers don't really discuss in training. They do, but I don't think it's as discussed as it is in the US, because we have this notion that we don't have serial killers here, but we do. Which is literally so stupid. I don't think it's the fault of the cops. Maybe they see it, like they see this person is killing these people multiple times with the same kind of, like almost the same kind of shit. But it's not part of their training, so they can't call it. It's not their fault at all. Like, give them a friggin' break, Gabby, I'm just kidding. Yeah. But this is a call to, if you're a cop, this is a call to you guys. Let us know how much you guys talk about serial killers. And if you don't at all, maybe you should raise it to your captain or your supervisor or whatever. Dude, you should. Because it's a threat to the country.
This is like what smaller and smaller circles, the novel, is kind of revolving around. This is like very infamous because it's the first Filipino crime fiction novel. And it's really more about why serial killers don't exist in the Philippines. But it's a story. It's not a textbook. It's a novel. And it's so cool. I actually want to read it.
I want to see the movie.
Yeah.
I want to read it, and I also want to see the movie because I like the actors. They're indie actors.
Me too.
And they're pretty good.
They are. And
to those that are listening, go fucking watch it. We haven't watched it, but go watch it. Don't watch it legally. Buy it. Watch it. support local people.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, this we didn't credit the author. This was written by Felisa Batacan. Guess what? She's
a
Singapore.
girl.
Yeah, she's Singapore based. I kind of want to stalk her. Maybe. Do you
Stalk
think
her?
she's still here?
we should interview her.
Oh my god! I was thinking that.
Fuck! I just realized I have a supervisor before. His younger brother took up criminology. Maybe we can interview him.
Ooh, okay.
Check out how yeah. So should we talk about the serial killer for this episode?
Yeah.
Mm.
This is one of the juiciest episodes I think we have.
Juiciest? What? I mean, guys, we sound like we're serial killer nerds. I mean, we are, but we don't idolize them.
No.
Don't do it, guys.
We're into this because we like psychology, and it's just
true.
A different form of understanding how people think. That's why it's so cool for us.
And plus, if you're listening to us, we're pretty sure you're smarter than any serial killer there is out there. Don't do it. Don't be stupid, or else we'll make fun of you. And you don't want us to make fun of you because we can talk shit pretty bad. From listening to us, you would know that we're good at researching. We'll find shitty things about your life, and you don't want that. So don't.
And you don't want the government to know because the government is on our side.
Exactly. Are they, though?
I'd like to think so. Because they're recording this for us. So they're doing their job, helping us.
Let's just say that they're on our side. So watch the fuck out.
Yeah.
And for our first episode about serial killers, it would be fitting to talk about the first documented serial killer in the Philippines.
And that is?
Yes. Shit. And mind you, this was back in, I want you to guess what era.
Era?
Yeah. Or what time, what year, whatever.
Oh my god, I don't know. World War? Pre-Spanish? Period.
No. You're way too far. People even know how to write back then? I mean, we
were warriors. I'm thinking Cebu. We were warriors. So.
Yeah, we were. But yeah. So the first documented serial killer in the Philippines is Juan Severino Malyari. And this was back in the 1800s. And this dude made it in our history books for 3 times. Not our history books, but he's in our history for 3 times. Aside from being the first documented serial killer. By the way, before I start, I have a really disappointing disclaimer. There's no gory details about it. For those that love gore, there's no gory details as to how or what he did with his poor victims. And there's no list of names of the victims as well.
Just like this Adil guy.
No names. Which is sad because we should talk about the victims because they lived their lives too.
Yeah.
I mean, they were tricked.
Wait, is this guy real Filipino or is he Spanish that just came?
He's real Filipino, I think. Yeah, he's Filipino because the Spanish back at the time, they made sure to let people know if you're Spanish and if you're Filipino because they don't want to mix that up. They don't want us to think that we're in the same level as they are. I mean, there's probably a list somewhere out there of the list of the names of his victims. But since Juan Severino Malyari from a different island where Gabby and I are from and where I am at right now, so it's hard to get that certain info. But if you're listening right now and you do have that info, you can message us at Creepy Convos at Tumblr or Twitter. But yeah, so that's out right now. That's out. How I'll narrate or whatever, how I'll tell his life is how he got on our history as well. What went wrong with this lunatic? Is he a lunatic? He's a psychopath for sure. You also realize how important taking care of your mental health is.
Yeah.
Which is very important. we cannot stress. By the way, this episode, instead of being a serial killer episode, it's turning into like mental health care episode. It's good.
Yeah,
you guys
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, you guys should always take care of your mental health.
I'll get by the way, it's like, I don't think it's politically correct to call him a lunatic because there's actual lunatic.
He's a psychopath.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's a lunatic, but he's a psychopath for sure. So there's no records of when he was born or where he was born, but most people assume that he's from Pampanga. For those that don't know, Pampanga is a town in the northern part of the Philippines where he committed all his crimes. Pampanga is like northeast, is it? Again, this is us being shit at geography. But for sure, it's in Luzon. Yeah. By the way, you know what, Gab and our listeners, Juan Severino Malyari was a Catholic priest.
Shit.
Yeah. I mean, yes, the priests before, during the Spanish era, they were very ruthless. They were, and people don't often talk about this.
Oh my God, you know why?
They were corrupt and selfish and almost evil. But this man, he was different than the other priests. He didn't kill for power or corruption. He was a different kind of asshole. So yeah, well, you're saying something.
This is not written in our history books, but the reason why our priests... Wait, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Because he sounds so quiet. Anyway, our priests were like very notorious was because they were actually ex-convicts from Spain, which they imported in the Philippines. And they just made us believe that they were actually friars, which they weren't.
But the Filipino priests also they got obsessed with power pretty much. Sorry.
What just happened?
Sorry. There were...
Someone's trying to kill you.
No, it's just my saliva's trying to kill me. So yeah, the priests before, aside from the Spanish, most of those that raped and killed and did evil shit, they were Filipinos. They were priests that got obsessed with power. That's for another episode. Why am I talking about it? But yeah, let's get back to this asshole, Juan Severino Malyari. Let's just call him Father Malyari.
Do you really want to call him Father?
Yeah, we're calling him Father Malyari, not to humanize him or to taint priests, but to remind people that you can't trust seemingly good strangers, you know? Priests, doctors, teachers, nuns, nurses, missionaries, we automatically have this notion that we're safe with them, that they can't commit crimes. We have this notion that they don't need therapists because we see them as saviors. We don't see them having mental issues, which isn't true at all. Again, back to mental issues, they do. They have mental health issues as well.
No one is exempted from that.
True. And I cannot even start with how many missionaries actually abuse people that claim to help. You know, I cannot start with that. It gets me heated up, man.
Passionate.
It's the same with priests. It's all over the world. It's not to trash talk about priests, but guys, there are priests that are evil as well. The same with the doctors, angels of death, nurses, angels of death as well. Which is, by the way, we have Filipino serial killers which we will talk about in another episode.
Yeah.
Tell how excited we are because
we
know that it's not a common thing here in the Philippines, and this is us giving information to you guys, so you should be excited as well. No, I'm just kidding.
Getting back to Father
Malyari, just keep in mind that these good people need help too, and they can get mental sickness too. I'm in a sing-song mode. This is so bad.
That's how excited you are.
And one last reminder, people can be twisted inside, not just mentally sick, but also twisted. So in short, anyone can kill you. So don't trust lightly. You can still trust people, but don't trust lightly, especially these seemingly good strangers.
Yeah.
They will kill you.
You still haven't given us a shit.
I'm like derailing back to Father Malyari. Back to Father Malyari. He was ordained as a priest in 1809. I don't know why I'm giving you that information. Oh, it actually will help later on. But yeah, he wasn't a serial killer. He wasn't a killer then. I'm not sure because it's not in the books, but he probably wasn't a killer then. And I told you guys earlier that he made it on he's in our history because of three things. The first time was that Father Malyari was an artistic genius. And I just wish that he just stopped there. Like, he just, stopped being an artistic genius because he did calligraphic drawings. So he and another priest, I feel like I should mention him because part of our history. The other priest's name is Father Mariano Hipolito. So he's the first priest that got into our history books as the first priest who's the calligraphic artist. And then
Why did we not learn this in school? I don't recall this.
Yeah, it's sad. You should. They're calligraphers. The second one is Father Malyari. I think they're tandems because their names are always found together. And their works are actually preserved in the archives of the Archdiocese in Manila. I actually have a photo of one of his calligraphic drawings, which we will post in our Tumblr.
Yeah, because I have to see as well.
Yeah. He's the second. Like repeating it. I have great respect for calligraphers. How do you pronounce it? Calligraphers or calligraphers?
The first one.
No, fuck. So I have great respect for them. I love you guys. And an interesting fact about this, I feel like I should mention this as well because I feel like this triggered him. Not really. It's just my theory. But Father Malyari and the other priest had contrasting styles. So Father Hipolito, the first priest to be recognized as the calligraphic artist priest, he drew Spaniards in various poses like hunting, walking their pets, and riding up their desks.
How is that even possible? Because I thought calligraphy would just involve letters and words. Did he use letters?
No, he was an artist in that way, but he was more known as a calligraphic artist.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So yeah, and then Father Malyari draw flowery vines and naked boy angels perched up on clouds.
That is scary. Why do you have to be naked boys?
I think it was common before, right?
I don't know.
I think they got compared a lot. And I feel like Father was an overachiever and maybe he didn't like being compared.
Oh, fuck.
I don't know. This is just a theory.
My sister is an overachiever and I'm scared.
Which one?
The youngest.
You're not going to mention her name?
Nope.
She knows who she is, though.
Of course. She's not going to listen to this episode. I'm not making her.
Anyway, so yeah, this man, right after his ordination in 1809, he immediately became a coadjutor. So
what the fuck is that? It sounds like coagulate.
I think I told you what that means.
You did, but then why would I remember such thing? I don't even know how to spell it.
For those that don't know what a coadjutor is, it's an assistant to a bishop. So he's kind of a bishop, but he's not really.
Not really.
I don't know how to fucking explain it, but yeah, he's like an assistant to a bishop. Usually, if a bishop quits or he dies or he retires,
he's next in line.
Yeah, he's next in line. So yeah, he's that kind of overachiever. So he was either A, very manipulative, or B, he was a really good man, but was fucked up in the brain. I think that's why he immediately became a coadjutor. I don't know which one. Probably letter B.
Let's go with that.
Go with that. This is me throwing shit again. And then right after that, like I mentioned, he got used to being a cheater. After this, he applied to be a pastor in the town of Arani, which is still a town in Pampanga in the Philippines. And then he applied in Mariveles and in Lubao, and he failed. They didn't accept him to be a pastor, to be the head pastor of those towns. And then he applied to be a chaplain in the port of Cavite, which he still got rejected. And I think the stress that he had under this like maybe
Triggered
it
him?
piled up. Yeah, maybe it triggered him. I'm not sure, but the fact that he got rejected multiple times and he was an achiever, I think it would, he would question his self-esteem.
Well, he didn't have Oprah as a person to look up to at that time, so I totally understand.
Yeah. And then finally in 1812, he became a pastor in San Bartolome and in the San Bartolome Parish in Magalang, which is the town where he committed all his crimes. Finally, after 3 years of him being ordained and applying to different churches, something good happened to him, but his mother got sick with a strange sickness.
We don't even know what it is. It's just strange.
They didn't say what it is, because I have another theory, which is what I would like to point out as well. Filipinos are very superstitious. Maybe she was sick with a curable sickness. Maybe she was sick that was gonna get cured, but they didn't, go to a doctor, or maybe the doctors weren't good at that time. A lot of different shit that's going on. But yeah, that's the reason why he started killing, because he believed that his mother got bewitched.
Oh, which makes total sense. I think I read that.
Yeah.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why he killed. I feel like he had like this Norman Bates kind of mother complex going on. Maybe he loved his mother too much. Yeah, that he wanted to save her, being superstitious. I feel like I wrote here. They're a suspicious family. I actually meant they're a superstitious family. Which they are. They could be a suspicious family. We just don't know. And that led him to kill for 10 years. He killed 57 people in 10 years. That's a pretty impressive kill count. But like when you look at the span of him killing, that's 10 friggin' years, man. And the town of Magalang at that time isn't that big.
We weren't overpopulated then.
Yeah, and now I actually searched the town of Magalang. It has like 180,000 people. 180,000 people, yeah. So that's not a lot.
I did my maths, and if he regulated his kills or attacks, he would have killed 5 to 6 people in a year.
Oh, wow, Gab. Good job.
Sorry, I'm nerdy. I'm doing my maths.
Yeah. So the Spaniards were still under, we were still under the Spanish government at that time. They were shocked at the fact that it's just their town priest that killed all these people. And I'm pretty sure, because I told you that I have the book of the crimes in the Philippines back in the 1500s until the early 2000s or early 1900s or whatever. But I read the book and I noticed that I'm pretty sure what he did was pretty bad because the Spaniards decided not to put it in, not to document how he killed the people, because it was very fucked up. Because reading the Crimes of the Philippines book, they would write down how like stabbed and like shit like that. And another thing, he believed that his mom was bewitched. So I feel like he like got some organs or shit like that. I'm not sure. I'm throwing shit again, but I feel like that's what he did. Because if you until now, if you know how dark witchcraft works,
or he could have been trying to offer those people to God, believing that he would fix his mom or something.
He wasn't really offering it to God. He was like, fuck.
No, because I'm just like considering the fact that he's a priest, and that in the Old Testament we would have these, those things.
Maybe. And could you imagine at that time, probably Father Malyari was a close guy to your family because he was the town's priest. And he probably would have killed your uncle. And you have no idea, right? At that time, I'm pretty sure the town was that small for him. Like, you probably knew someone that this guy killed. And you
That
probably
is so
know someone who's
scary.
close to this guy as well. Can you imagine how fucked up he was? Like, he was the town priest at the same time. He killed people. Like, how manipulative he could have been to show his face in front of these people. And people were, like, hella religious back then. He killed, I'm assuming, at night. So,
did they mention, like,
multitasker as well.
Victims? Did they mention, like, what or who his victims would be? Like,
no, just
profile?
Just the townspeople in Magalang. No profile at all.
Shit.
But I'm assuming they're Filipino.
Okay. No, because it would be very hard to catch a Spaniard during that time.
Yeah. Maybe he was able to kill Spaniards because he was a priest. So but there's a possibility.
That would, like, rile up the whole town because the Spaniards were really, authoritative at that time. So I think if something went wrong with their kind, they would be on the hunt for blood.
I think that's why they eventually found out who killed these people.
Right. Because then they wouldn't care much if they were all just Filipino.
Yeah, but still, I mean, if you think about it, he killed 57 people in 10 years.
I know.
I'm pretty sure the cops were like, you know what? We need to do something about this. This is a lot, It's not 50-something.
It's like, this isn't us anymore.
This dude, I want to know more. I really, really know more about how he killed, but it's too bad that it was in the 1800s, man.
We don't have a lot of recordings during that time. It's sad.
And then during the time, this is the third time. First time, he's in history because he's the artist priest. And then second, being the first documented serial killer ever. And then third, to be the first priest to be executed by the Spaniards. And during the time of his arrest, Father Malyari had fallen into, like, deep psychosis. Like, he got crazy while he was still in jail. I mean, it pisses me off of the fact that they can write this down. Like, he got crazy while he was still in jail. They can write down.
But, like, nothing else.
Yeah. According to this source that I had, there's this historian Dr. Santiago, that said that it was unusual and irregular because during that time, Spain pioneered the humane treatment of mental patients, having founded one of the first psychiatric hospitals in Europe to treat, mentally ill patients. But I think what he did was really sick, that they decided to really execute him and not treat him anymore.
I think they were just, like, super scared because you would think you would just be tolerable at some level, but maybe they found it was just too scary to treat him at that time.
Actually, during the time of his arrest in 1826, the Hospital Vicio de San Jose, which is a hospital that also housed mentally ill patients, was already operating for 15 years. And he could have been taken there instead of prison, but they were too outraged and they were disgusted by his crimes that they didn't really care about human rights anymore. Yeah, I kept searching so bad. Like, I was looking for this book, the Kapampangan Pioneers in the Philippine Church, for 1592 to 2001. That's where the info about Father Malyari, but I couldn't find a book about it at all. The source,
dude, if we find out more details about this, can we, like, redo another episode, just geek out about him?
Yes, I would love to. And there's actually a quote here, which was, I'll just read this, an account by Spanish chronicler Sinibaldo de Mas, recorded in Blair and Robertson's The Philippine Island series, says that the attorney, can we edit that out?
Depends.
Shut up. The attorney on that case talked in pathetic terms of the indescribable and barbarous prodigality of bloodshed by that monster. The accounts mentioned Father Maliari's case as an example of the Indios' natural tendency to believe all the ghost stories they were so fond of telling. You know what? I don't think the rest of it matters, but yes. And then he was executed by hanging. He was actually in jail for 14 years before he got executed in 1840. And then he got executed by hanging, which earned him the title.
How did they find out it was?
No, it's not in the history books as well. I really wanted I wanted to find out because he could have been framed like, oh shit, that crazy dude's the one who did it. But I'm pretty sure they would like make sure that it's him regarding. And he did confess. Think it's
like that hard.
And he did confess that he did it because of his mother. He believed that his mother was bewitched, and I don't know what happened to his mother after he got arrested. Probably she died. So
because she wasn't treated anyway.
Yeah, he's the first priest to be ever executed in the Philippines. This was way before, the 3 priests that were martyrs, and it was a big friggin' it was a big friggin' deal during that time because people respected priests. Even if priests were like really bad, were abusive, they still had high respects for priests during that time. So that's why it was such a big deal that they executed. Mm-hmm. And Spaniards were friggin' religious as well. So it was a big deal for them to kill a priest. So yeah, that's my story.
I want more information. I mean, first of all, how did they consider him as a serial killer when we can't even talk about the MO or what he did for us to understand why?
They like shit. They realized that he was a serial killer way after. They didn't write him down as a serial killer. They just wrote him down as a murderer. And then during the time where the notion of a serial killer was invented, I don't know, was more familiar. So they categorized him as a serial killer. I don't think he had the same way of, because we have this notion that serial killers kill, they strangle all of their victims. Mm-hmm. Not all serial killers do that. Richard Ramirez didn't do that to his victims. He killed kids, he killed old people, he killed couples. He didn't have like a certain...
Just random.
Yeah, just random. And I feel like Father Maliari also had the same thing. Like when his like brain would like knock on the door, like this person looks perfect for killing, and you would like just kill the person. But I also think that he didn't like act out, I'm gonna kill this night. No, I feel like he did some decisions as well. Should I kill this person or something like that? Maybe he killed them while they were, maybe like he based his victims on their confessions.
Could be.
Yeah, I feel like that. I'm not sure, but I feel like
we're making a backstory. No, this is what you do when you don't get information. You just create your own backstory because
you don't research about it. You just make your own information. But yeah, I tried my best. Like so hard to find. I was going crazy. My office mates were like,
you were doing this, weren't you?
Yeah, they were like
your research.
She's going crazy. I was like, do you guys know anyone who's from Pampanga? Because I would love to interview them, and I would like love to ask them to do something. I was already doing that shit. I was texting the people that I knew if they knew anyone from Pampanga, but it's hard. I was that crazy. I didn't check, though, in the book if Father Maliari, in the Crimes in the Philippines book, if Father Maliari was there. But I did check for serial killers, and I checked the crimes in 1800s, but he wasn't there.
It's so hard. Actually, it's very difficult to talk about these things because we never get enough of the details we need.
Exactly. But by the way, speaking of details, later for future episodes for serial killers, I do have a serial killer who I'm not making this shit up, by the way. I found a certain serial killer that has pro the how do you say the word prophilic serial killer that we all know, the kind of serial killers that kill their victims,
or
prolific serial killer. The next serial killer that I'll be talking about is a prolific serial killer. He's a serial killer here in the Philippines, but he's in jail.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was actually thinking you might be referring to the president.
No. This was back in like 2000 something. Like, I think way before he became a president. But to those that are haters, this is just satire, people.
Please. Oh my God. Even my dad would fucking skewer me if he heard that. Because
if my dad
let's not even get into your dad is going to show up in your dreams like, the fuck? Did you just do that?
What the fuck were you talking about? Take that shit back. But like I said, it's satire.
Let's not even delve. Mm-hmm. Let's not even delve into politics. Like, we already have the government.
Don't be so sensitive. Like, there's a little truth to what we're talking about. But like you said, it's satire. It's up to you if you're going to get offended or not. If you're stupid, you're going to get offended. No, I'm just kidding. No. But yeah.
IQ over EQ. So, like, don't get your emotions. Like, get it out of the way.
We're just kidding, you guys. So,
shit. We have so much to talk about this. I found something very recent. Because yours is, like, way.
Yeah, because it's the first serial killer for a first serial killer episode.
Oh, I closed the tab in incognito.
Good job, Gab.
Anyway, we don't even have time anymore to talk about it, I think. So yeah, it's probably a sign from the government controlling my fingers. Like, nope, forget it. Close the fucking window.
The government's controlling you like Illuminati.
No, because like we're on headsets and they're recording this, so they're probably like tweaking my brain cells right now, controlling my finger. Next level.
Yes. So, on a lighter note. Oh shit, I have another theory, by the way, regarding serial killers in the Philippines. I mean, we're pretty sure there are serial killers here. And one thing is that Filipinos don't really, like, this in denial shit again, see the information, but we're like, we know it's a serial killer. Like, let's not talk about it, because Filipinos aren't crazy that way.
It's annoying. Oh, I remember. And I'll be totally honest about this. Back in college, I really felt like I was going to go crazy. I just felt like something was wrong with me. And I told my mom, and she was like, go see a psychiatrist. And so I did. And the thing was, my mom told me, don't tell your friends you went to visit them because your friends might think you're crazy. And I think that says a lot about our culture. You know, like just hiding because you feel ashamed of needing help for something, which shouldn't be the case at all. And I know my mom was just trying to protect me in saying that, but like, no.
And another thing, I mean, you did tell us, and we don't think you're crazy. I mean, we already think you are crazy,
my friends.
But not like that. So don't be ashamed to tell your friends, guys, because you might think that they're gonna be all judgy. I mean, if they get judgy,
you've got shitty friends. If that
find
happens.
another friend, man. Find another friend. Yeah. Find people that can understand you.
We can be your friend.
No.
Just listen to the podcast.
We're too full. But you can message us and we can like talk about it. Let's talk about your problems. We're fine with that. Let us be your advice.
Let's keep it virtual.
Let's keep it virtual.
I'm sorry, you guys. Like, we're too introvert. We're full. I think we've already more than maxed out because we were supposed to have like 3, but we're 4 in the group.
Yeah.
So we kind of overdid it. We don't have more slots. Sorry, guys.
So if you need help, you can message us, but just a disclaimer, we can't be friends. Like, we can be virtual friends, but not like hanging out friends. Like, we don't even hang out with our friends. We're two shitty people. Keep your expectations low.
If you need new friends, just hit subscribe, rate, and comment on our iTunes.
Then we can be friends. It's a conditional friendship.
Priorities.
Yes.
But we get to help you.
Yes, and we would be close friends.
Tight.
Just go on patreon.com and then look for Creepy Conversations. You'll know what to do next. You're smart.
Or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr at Creepy Convos. Then we can be friends there. Just there.
Yes, yes, yes.
See you guys next time.
Yes. And remember, what should they always remember, Gab?
I don't know.
Remember that the government is always watching you. So if you're planning to jack off right after this, it's fucking weird because we just talked about serial killers. Don't fucking jack off, man. The government is watching you. Bye.
Oh,
what? That wasn't it. Yeah, I take the bye back.
I was gonna say, like, our next episode is gonna be like horror movies, and we're gonna diss them.
Is it?
But yeah,
are we gonna talk about horror movies?
That's what you wrote here.
We're gonna talk about horror movies.
Yeah. So thanks for creeping, you fucking creeper.
Bye.